Look, I'm gonna start filming this, guys. Where are we? Sitting outside the Minnesota Sex Offender Treatment Center.
The address you gave me is the Minnesota Sex Offender Center. It's actually gated. It's a gated asylum for sex offenders.
Old Traverse, now known as Greenlawn Cemetery, sits on the outskirts of St. Peter, Minnesota. Greenlawn is a place rumored locally to be extremely haunted, where teenagers go for a good scare. The team is here to explore these urban legends, but will soon uncover something much, much deeper.
We're in St. Peter at the Old Traverse Cemetery. This is one of the earliest cemeteries in Minnesota, and some of the settlers and pioneers date back to the 1860s and 1870s. There's a reputation in this cemetery for having dares, being very haunted, and children coming out at night to scare one another. So we're going to run some equipment and see what's here. My name is Adrian Lee. I'm a historian from Britain. I have Scott with me here, who's from Superior, Wisconsin. I have Steve holding the camera right now. We're here in the middle of this amazing cemetery in this fabulous landscape. There's been lots of rumours that this cemetery is very haunted. Children, teenagers come up here to try and scare one another. There's been lots of reported sightings and strange phenomena. First of all, you're aware of who I am. I'm Adrian. Could you tell me who you are? Could you shout your name out for me, please? Was that Ray? Could you shout your name out again, please? Mike. Mike. Do you prefer being called Mike or Michael? Straight away there's a double M on that footstone, so I'd be interested to know who's the other side of that flame.
Died 1879 at 90 years old.
It's a good run. Let's just check this.
Especially for 1879.
I thought you said Michael. Could you just confirm that for me? Are you Michael or Mike? There's a very faint yes under there. Are you buried in this cemetery, yes or no? Yes, female voice.
Female, yeah.
What's the name of the lady we're talking to? We thought we may have got the name Beth, but can you just confirm that? What's your name? 40. So are you 40 years old? I thought there were some faint yeses. I'm going to walk back to the stone because that's where I left my DVR. So we're not recording on my DVR all of this right now. Could you shout your name out? I thought we got Michael and I thought there might be a Beth in there, but I need confirmation of those. Could you shout them out again nice and loudly? Sure. Can you do that for me?
Reese?
There was a Nesmith before that. Are we standing close to your grave right now, yes or no? Are we standing close to your grave? Can you see us right now, yes or no? If you gave me directions, would you be able to point me to where you're buried, yes or no? There's a loud Bob there, I guess, which is a Robert. Would you be able to point me to your grave if you gave me directions? Someone said it's very important. If you can direct me to where you are, someone's trying to talk through me at the moment, which I get psychically sometimes. They actually try and communicate through me rather than talking in my ear, and it takes my breath away a little bit. You said it's very important. If you direct me to where you're buried, we will chat with you and we'll discuss what you would like. Does that sound like a good plan? Shout your name out for me so I know when we get there it's you.
A fly on your finger. Look at that.
So if I stand here facing this stone, would I need to be to my right, to my left, back or behind or forward? Where would I need to go to be able to find you? Can you shout out a direction to start with? Where are you buried? Where would I be able to find you? Can you give me a direction? Back, left, right, straight. Where would I need to be? I'm going to turn and face this way and I start walking. Is this the right direction if I walk this way? Yes or no? Am I going in the right direction if I walk this way? Let me start walking forward, and here we are. I think you're right. Let this stay forward. Can you shout out whether I need to stop or go left or right? How am I doing? There's Frank. Sue Brown. Am I going in the right direction? Can you redirect me if I'm going wrong?
Sequences like this aren't uncommon, as Adrian and Scott are guided through the cemetery.
Someone keeps asking me to pray. They said pray 3 times in a row. That might be the help they feel they need. Maybe praying to be out of purgatory if your beliefs are that way inclined. Which direction do I need to be in? Do I need to be over to my left? Let me walk this way and you can stop me or give me other directions. I'd rather keep moving than just stand there and not do anything. Am I doing okay? Right. I'm kind of going in this direction. What did you think that said? Please stay?
I thought it said pretty good.
Pretty good. Well, we'll keep going. Am I going in the right direction? Well, you need to help me. Where do I need to be here? Straight, left, right? Where am I going? Direct me to your grave. Am I standing close to it now, yes or no? The female voice I was talking to, am I standing on your grave right now, yes or no? Stop. Did you say you heard Beth come through?
I thought I did.
Would that be Elizabeth?
It would be.
Elizabeth, do you prefer being called Elizabeth or Beth? Beth. Did you direct me to where you are right now?
I heard a yes, and I heard a guy say right.
Is your husband here with you? No. So you're Elizabeth Williamson Hunter, March the 30th, 1833. That was a long time ago. April the 19th, died March 13th. So your deaths are all very spring related, I guess.
I think that April 19th is when she got married to Andrew Hunter.
I believe so, because the dates underneath are 58 and 63.
Yeah.
Where did you come from, Elizabeth? Whereabouts did you come from originally?
Doc.
Someone called me Doc, and I never introduced myself as Doc. Whereabouts did you come from originally? You died in 1863, so that's a year after the US Dakota War, and during the American Civil War. That's a very long time ago. What do you remember of that time? Tell me a little bit about the Dakota War. Was that something that was a worry to you? Was that something you were scared of? Give me some words to describe the US Dakota War. Psychically, I get the impression that she wasn't from here, and she maybe came into this area because of the US Dakota War. She was pushed out of her township and out of her home and cabin and ended up in St. Peter because it was a safe place to be. So I'm going to start asking her where she came from and how she ended up here, because in my psychic thinking, I don't believe she was from this area, and she came here to get some sort of safety during the US Dakota War.
How far are we from the action of the Dakota War?
Oh, we're in amongst it.
Okay.
We're
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
So she's not really getting away from it.
Well, it's a big city, a big town, not on the outskirts, not a pioneer cabin type place where you would have been attacked. Elizabeth, or can I call you Beth or Elizabeth? What would you prefer? Do you prefer Beth? Hi. Am I right in thinking that you ended up in St. Peter because of the US Dakota War? Would that be a correct statement, yes or no? Yeah. So which part of the surrounding area did you come from? Can you give me a name of your township or a name of your settlement? That's a common story. I can think of a few other people that I've written about that came to St. Peter to avoid the trouble.
Elizabeth P. Williamson died March 13th, 1863, St. Peter, Minnesota.
Elizabeth Williamson fled the U.S. Dakota War of 1862 with her family from the area of Granite Falls and the Upper Sioux Agency. In the only photograph taken during the conflict, she is seen in the background with other refugees, resting in the open prairie, looking tired and scared as they made their way to the bigger towns like St. Peter.
Beth, I got the impression you wanted to ask me some questions, so is there anything you'd like me to do for you or anything you'd like me to help you with? What would you like, Beth? Someone shouted out leave and go. I'm interested to know about the US Dakota War. What's your feeling about the Dakota? Do you have any responses or any words to tell the Dakota people now, if you could? What would you say to the Dakota if you had a chance now to discuss with them the US Dakota War? Is there anything you'd like to share with them?
No. Oh, I heard stand over in the shade come through. Pretty sure.
Is there anything we can do for you, Elizabeth? Did you say the word Fort? Were you at Fort Ridgely by any chance? Were you one of the refugees that made it to Fort Ridgely during the US Dakota War? Yeah?
Yes.
Where did you come from? Did you come from the Lower Sioux Agency, yes or no? Did you cross the ferry at the Lower Sioux Agency to get onto the road to Fort Ridgely? Were you on that ferry, yes or no? We were all on it. What was the name of the ferry driver or the pilot of that ferry? Because there's been various accounts. Can you remember the name of that gentleman?
On the 18th of August, 1862, the Dakota attacked the settlement of the Lower Sioux Agency due to starvation. 20 settlers were massacred as they tried to flee across the Redwood Ferry crossing in the hope of reaching the safety of Fort Ridgely. The name of the brave ferryman who gave up his life in helping the families cross the Minnesota River is unclear.
You said you were all on that ferry. Do you know John Nairn? He was the carpenter at the Lower Sioux Agency. Are you friends, or did you know John Nairn? John. Do you remember Louisa Bott that used to look after his children? Are you familiar with Louisa Bott? I've spoken to Louisa Bott and John Nairn many times at the Wood Lake battlefield and at various places around Redwood Falls. Are you aware of Louisa Bott when she was only a small girl rescuing John Nairn's children?
John Nairn was a Scottish carpenter who helped build Fort Snelling in 1819. He resided at the Lower Sioux Agency with his disabled wife and children. A young Louisa Bott was looking after them when the massacre started. She gathered them up and escaped through a window, and they made their way via the ferry to the safety of Fort Ridgely. She is credited with saving the Nairn children.
We're going to carry on wandering around the cemetery. There are lots of pioneers here that got displaced by the US Dakota War, and I just want to catch up with one or two of them and ask them about their experiences. We're here today to try and unearth the mystery and the legend surrounding this very old pioneer cemetery. So I just want to ask if any of the incumbents here are willing to come through and ask. Perhaps I can talk to them about who's here and what's haunting this location. So if there's anyone buried here that wants to talk to me, can you just shout hello? I just want to ask you some questions about this location. Is this cemetery haunted by a specific individual or a specific ghost, yes or no? I thought someone said Colin. Is there someone here who haunts this specific location on a regular basis? I thought underneath that someone said Cole, but I don't want to necessarily commit to Colin just yet. Is this cemetery very active at night? Is there a lot going on here in terms of paranormal activity, yes or no?
Right at the beginning, I thought I heard a man voice saying no.
I also think at the end of that sweep, just as I was fading it out, they said they come.
I heard that.
So I get the impression that they were referring to the amount of teenagers and people that come here perhaps to experience that paranormal activity. Do a lot of people come here at night messing around? What do they see? If they come here at night, what are they likely to see? Death. Well, I guess if you're turning up at a cemetery late at night, you're going to be surrounded by death. Is there any specific event that happens here late at night? What do they see? What do people see when they come here late in the evening? Do they see lights? They do. What are those lights? Are those lights energy? How would you describe those lights? I thought someone said female at the end of that. Is this cemetery very haunted, or are there a lot of spirits here of an evening, yes or no? Someone said one. So is there one specific person who haunts this cemetery? Would that be correct? Just one person kind of accounts for all of the activity here. Would that be true? Everybody. Do you have a bit of fun with it? If I was in spirit and there were teenagers messing around, I think I'd jump out of a tree, I would flick people's ears and generally mess around. Is there any sport to be had or any sense of enjoyment from actually spooking the local teenagers? Does that happen? A couple of responses there. Did you catch that?
No, I didn't, but that question got the most responses of all of them.
The question I'm asking is that in spirit, do you actually have fun with the living? Do you jump out of them? Do you make them scared? Because that would be something I'd find to be very funny. Do you actually have fun with the people that come here late at night and mess around with them? Yes. So we're getting a sense here that the teenagers and the local youth come to this cemetery that has a background and a folklore of being haunted, and now we're getting a sense that the spirits are having fun as well by then scaring those individuals, which of course you'd do in spirit if you had the opportunity, I guess, if people were messing around by your graveside. Would that be a fair statement to make? Yes. So you're messing around in spirit with the living because it's funny. Yes, male voice, female voice. Isn't it just a joy that in spirit you have that sense of humanity around you, that you're still willing to have fun and you're still willing to joke around? So I guess to the local population and the local teenagers, if you do come to the Old Traverse Cemetery, beware, because the spirits that are residing there also like to have fun and hang out as well.
This cemetery has a reputation of being very haunted, and the local kids come up here on a dare to see at night to see if they can, come in and survive without being scared. Do you enjoy scaring these kids when they come up here? There's a yes and a sure, I think. What do you do to scare these kids? What do you show yourselves? Do you throw things? Do you manifest as, say, a light, or you just make noises? How do you scare these kids? There was a lot in there, but I didn't understand any of it. Do you ever touch people when they come up here on a dare? Do you touch them? Would it be possible for you to touch me right now? Could you grab my shoulder or touch Adrian? Grab my arm or my shoulder or something? Could you touch me or Adrian right now? It's okay if you do. We won't be scared. We've had that happen before. Could you touch Adrian or I? Are you here all the time, or do you just come back when you know that there's kids here, when people are coming up here, or do you spend are you spending your eternity here in this area? Do you ever visit other places, or do you just stay here? That said visit. Didn't it? Or do you just think it said... Okay, I thought it said visit.
I can see people watching us around the periphery. This is very entertaining for them and nothing happens here. I'm going to drag out my full spectrum camera and my thermal imaging camera, and while you're working the ghost box, I'm just going to pan around because we are being watched. There's a semicircle of people around us right now, and I'm going to see if I can get them.
About how many of them?
There's two standing to the right of that tree. So in between that gravestone and the tree, there's two there.
Okay.
They're dressed in black, and one has like breeches on with stockings, which makes him quite old. There's probably 5 or 6 standing here in this, where that dip is, and standing around. There's just a sense of a lot of others, but I can't see them.
Okay.
So if you keep going, and anything I get on the thermal imaging or the full spectrum adds to our evidence, I guess.
Adrian sees some of you. He has the ability to see things that Steve and I don't see. And he's going to try to photograph you. When he tries to photograph you, if you could manifest yourself or wave at him or, do something so he can actually take your photograph, I'd appreciate it. Could you do that for me, please?
These two men here are really interested. They're really kind of, engaged.
Okay. That sounded German.
There'd be lots of Germans here.
There's 2 gentlemen to my right that Adrian's going to try to take a photograph of. If you could show yourself, we would appreciate it. Could you tell me what your name is? Could you tell me who's standing there watching us? Me doesn't help. Could I have a first name? Me or Steve? So I want to get back to the scaring of the teenagers that come up here. I find it fascinating that you find that enjoyable. I think it's funny, and I would hope that I could do the same thing when I'm where you are. It just fascinates me. Do you ever get bored? I think it said, of course.
I heard a kid in there or something.
I'm going to ask again. Do you ever get bored? That was a little kid that said yes. There's a young child. I can't tell if it's a boy or it's a girl, but you're answering my questions, and I appreciate that. Could you tell me your first name, please? What's the name of the little boy or the little girl that's here answering our questions? How old are you? Two?
Two.
Six? Two.
And dead or two after that.
Oh. The voice that I heard earlier that sounded like the kid that really high, I thought he said two. That was the third voice I heard anyway.
I don't know how much a 2-year-old would have in terms of vernacular, but the middle one was definitely a 6.
Is there a 6-year-old boy or girl here? Can you tell me, the 6-year-old, are you a boy or a girl?
Six again in that suite.
And I thought at the end it said it's a boy. Can you tell me your first name? I just heard a voice come from over here, and it sounded like a kid's voice.
I was pointing the camera that direction when that happened.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. The 6-year-old boy. Can you shout out? I'm gonna wait for this car to go by. Can you shout out your first name for me, please? I thought I heard a voice a little while ago coming from over there. Was that you? Was that the young boy that I'm talking to? Who did I hear a minute ago talking to me from that direction over there?
That said a little kid. It went a little kid. This was a really interesting investigation. We had a spirit guide us to her grave, and then we had a discussion with her. But more importantly, we discovered that all the spirits that are in this cemetery do actually enjoy messing around with all the teenagers and the people that come up here looking to be spooked. This is a haunted cemetery, and the spirits admit to haunting it to have some fun and some excitement in the afterlife.
It certainly seems that there are many spirits here. Maybe even having a little fun in the afterlife. Adrian has written extensively about the history of the U.S. Dakota War in his book, Ghost of the U.S. Dakota War, 1862.